it isn't always survival of the fittest. Sometimes when you're trying to survive, it's survival of the smartest. Depending on what tools you have with you, you can survive longer and better if you have, any issues. So if you're hiking and you veer off trail, like if you're me and you have a terrible sense of direction, you might need to take some emergency supplies with you. So there are things that can help you in a hike gone wrong, like a large pot to sanitize water and heat your meat, a tarp for shelter and insulation, hunting knife for traps, hunting, starting fires, paracord for ropes, for snares, creating shelter, and a sleeping bag for insulation and protection. So the pot can provide safe food and water. You can survive longer without food than water. So for about 2 months, you can survive on just water and not food. So you really need water. You need to boil water for at least a minute to make sure that all the pathogens, viruses, and protozoa are dead in it before you can drink it. Water alone can keep you alive. So to cook food, you want to cook it to get all of the raw meat because sometimes it can contain deadly bacteria and pathogens. So you need to avoid eating raw meat because you can get seriously sick. So for shelter, if you have a tarp and some rope, you can create shelter to help insulate you from the elements. So it's more deadly to go without shelter than it is water and food because you can get hypothermia, you can develop sickness. So you'll die faster from hypothermia than you will from starvation. And according to the rule of 3, you can go 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. And there are several different shelter types that you can do, but the easiest one is the triangle shelter, where you tie the rope between 2 trees and you put the tarp over top of it. If you have grommets on the tarp, you can sharpen some sticks and put them through the holes to create stakes to hold the tarp down. The body bag sounds a little bit prophetic, but it gives you the most shelter because it wraps entirely around your body while still giving you room. It keeps you off the bare ground and it provides better insulation. So the knife, which is the next item, it helps you with the core 4, which is water, fire, food, and shelter. These are the basic needs for survival. So you need to create traps for food, so like snares, weapons for protection and hunting, because you don't really want to use the knife for protection, just because if you try to attach it to the end of a stick, it's not a very accurate weapon, so you don't want to lose your best item. You can sharpen the branches for spears, and you don't want to use your knife. You can use snares for traps, so if you use the rope as well, you can create snares. You can sharpen sticks for putting stakes in the ground, and you can create a place for the pot above the fire to heat it up. And you can shave kindling off of trees to help make a fire, which fire is very important. And the paracord can hang your shelter and make traps. So the strong rope in between trees is very important. You don't want to have like fishing line because it's not going to hold it for very long. You'll tie down the edges if you lose the grommets or the grommets aren't there. So you can cut the rope and smaller branches to make snares. If you fire harden some of the sticks, you can make a tension snare, which is a bit bigger for bigger prey like deer. Once it's tripped, the animals will be impaled, which doesn't sound like a nice death. The sleeping bag is a safe place to sleep, and it protects you from the elements as well. So it cuts down on your risk of sickness from the weather and bugs. Cold can cause more than just discomfort. So if you shiver too much, it can cause a loss of calories and an energy loss, which would necessitate more food, since your body is fighting off the cold and using calories. It protects against hypothermia at night. If it's waterproof, it'll help protect against water in case it gets into the shelter, and it'll help you keep from a rapid temperature drop. So used to their full potential, these items can get you through any ordeal. And again, the best 5 items are pot, tarp, parachute, knife, and sleeping bag. And while it is possible to survive without them, it would be massively difficult and much better to survive with them.